Hey guys, this is Brianna. Welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, I am a high school student, a rising senior, and I study the IB-DP program now in high school. And in this video, I want to go over each IB course that I selected. And now, as a student who has just finished her first year of the 2-year-long IB-DP program, I do have some thoughts and general overviews of the courses that I selected. Keep watching if you're interested, and do not forget to like and subscribe. And if you're interested, leave a comment down below so that I can produce more quality videos in the future. And if you have any suggestions, do please tell me in the comment section. Yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Hi everyone, this is Brianna, and I just want to film this part prior to whatever I'm gonna do next because it's such a nice day and this is my school and here's the playground. You can see that it is right after school right now, and I just came here and we're gonna play frisbee for a while later, and I'm waiting for my friends to come. And it's a very nice day and the sun is very bright and the sky is very blue as you can see, and behind me on the playground people are already starting to play soccer together. And yeah, it's just such a nice scenario here, and I can't help wanting to film this part. Yeah, so see you whatever I'm gonna do next. Yay! So if you're an IB student, you know like how the IB course selection works. There are 6 categories of courses, and we have to select one from each category. However, the 6th category is arts. So like if you're not interested in arts, you can substitute this subject with a subject in any other groups of subjects. So like I substituted another social science course as a substitute of my art classes. So my course selection are respectively the HL courses are mathematics AAHL, economics HL, and chemistry HL. And my standard level courses are Chinese A, language and literature SL, English A, language and literature SL, as well as psychology SL. Yeah, these are my courses. And like in IB, we have to select 3 courses in higher level and 3 courses in standard level. The courses in higher level would be more in-depth, and there will be generally more content compared to the standard level, and we will spend more time on it as there are 5 classes each week for the higher level courses and 4 classes each week for the standard level courses. These are my courses that I selected for my IB-DP program, and I'm gonna give a list here. If you're interested in the rationale of my course selection, keep tuned in, and I think I'll produce another video where I will talk in depth about why I selected each of the course that I selected. And today we're just gonna focus on how I think of each course and what are like the general contents in it, the overall difficulty, and how the exam works. Okay, so let's first delve into the math AAHL. Well, in terms of the content, the math AA course isn't very different from like our pre-calculus course, our pre-IB math class that took place in grade 10. So all we had to do is like go more in depth into the field of calculus and touched upon some areas of statistics. Because, well, you know, there's AA, then there's AI. For the AA course, we have a more heavy focus on calculus, whereas for the AI course, they have a more heavy focus on statistics. So for us, it would be like the calculus part is very intense, and we did learn many of the like techniques and all. Generally, I wouldn't think it is too difficult, because if you can do well in like pre-IB math or like pre-calculus, I think you can do well in this calculus portion of the AA course. And all it requires is you to do like some practice and make sure like you get the content of that day's course very well before you move on to the next part. Because the case is that usually the next day's class would involve some concepts in the past, and you would make sure that you know well the previous concepts in order to make sure that you can do well in the future concepts. Yeah, so in terms of like the content, it is not very different from the general pre-calculus track, and you just have to do more practices on it. Aside from the calculus part, we also have statistics part, which isn't difficult at all. All we learned was 2 types of distribution: normal distribution and binomial distribution, which is like much less than the AI course where they learn many other types of distribution and all the hypothesis testing and all, but we don't have a very heavy focus on this part of the course, and all we need to do is to know like how to use calculator. Overall, the math AA course is like more theoretically based than like application based, because for the AI course they are more application based rather than theoretically based. So if you're a person who is like more of a theoretical person, or like you intend to study majors or areas of study in the future that is more or less related to mathematics, you could go with this math AA course. And aside from like calculus and statistics, there's of course other contents that were covered in the past, where like in our school our teacher doesn't go much into it, because it is assumed that we have been equipped with this area, these prior knowledge before coming to this class, which includes like trigonometry. Make sure that before you enter the course, you have a good understanding of your previous knowledge, and if you're not sure of them, do go back and review them from time to time when you're not sure, and make sure that your lack or misunderstanding of certain knowledge in the past wouldn't influence your current study. Yeah, so this is the general overview of the Math AA HL content, and I hope it helps. Okay, next, moving on to my economics higher level course. Well, economics is like one of my favorite subjects in IB. Economics isn't very hard, and its concept is like sort of it includes microeconomics and macroeconomics as well as international trade. So these are like the three main sections of it. The study of macroeconomics will mainly be evolving around these four topics, and small topics and concepts will be included in a study of these four general areas. In terms of microeconomics, we're studying basically market, supply and demand, and externality, government interventions. These are more like, if you understand it, you're able to draw the graphs, diagrams, and you know how the diagrams would shift, how like the price floor and price ceilings would work, and then if you know these concepts, you're fine. And I think the more difficult concepts in microeconomics would be like market structures, for example, perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. So these are the I think these are the concepts that are more higher level focused. So if you go for standard level, that wouldn't be a concern for you. But for higher level, these are the general like cost curves and revenue curves may be confusing at the beginning. But once you get into it and once you compare different market structures, it won't be that difficult. Yes. And currently, we haven't studied the international trade, international economics portion yet, so I don't know how to comment on that. But overall, economics isn't a very hard subject, and as long as you're willing to put hard work into it, and you like make sure your theoretical understanding is correct, you're gonna be fine. And there's also like these sort of course companion where there are like graphs explained, and there's a book called The Magic Book. And that is a very exhaustive book that explains basically every concept and every graph in economics. So that's perfect for you if you need some support. Okay, finally, for the third higher level course that I selected, chemistry higher level. Well, I wouldn't say that chemistry is very easy, because I suppose it is one of the courses that I've been having trouble with in all 6 IB courses that I've selected. So IB chemistry, what it studies is like for higher level, it has a large portion of stuff that is coming from pre-IB studies. So if you did well in pre-IB, you're gonna be fine with a huge portion of your IB higher level chemistry. However, it is true that for whichever concept, the higher level chemistry is going to be like more in depth, and you're like getting to know what happens behind the surface. You're getting to know the mechanisms and how like specific reaction goes, and how different kinds of factors influences like maybe the equilibrium and reaction rate and stuff. So like for these contents that you've already studied before, it's still gonna be more difficult. And yeah, there are also a huge portion that isn't related to what you've studied before, especially in organic chemistry. Well, I would say that in IB higher level chemistry, the organic chemistry is a huge part of it. And there are multiple reactions, different kinds of mechanisms that you need to learn and you need to memorize. Oh, I wouldn't say memorize, but like if you have a good understanding of it, you have a good knowledge of it, you're going to be fine with them. But still, like chemistry requires you to put in a lot of effort, especially to study the details of different kinds of mechanisms and the naming, which is another very important portion of IB chemistry, higher level chemistry. You need to know how to name organic compounds and inorganic compounds, which would probably take up some portion of your time after school. Yeah, so overall, chemistry, I would say, is not very easy for me, but like if you're a very sciencey student and you're very capable of doing any science subject, I would definitely recommend you going for it, because even though it is not that easy, chemistry, in my perspective, is still the most interesting science course that I know compared to biology and physics, because in physics, they're like too much calculation involved, and in biology it's all memorization, but chemistry, it is a good combination of both the calculation portion as well as like the memorization and theoretical understanding portion. Yeah, so like it has a good balance of both sides, and if you're somebody who is into this kind of idea, chemistry is probably the good option for you. But in terms of like the higher level, I wouldn't recommend you to go for chemistry higher level if you're like not extremely capable of the subject. Because it isn't limited to chemistry. In all your IB courses, if you're like yearly the highest scores, the 7s would go to students who are like genuinely interested in it and who are like willing to put in huge amount of time and effort to work hard for it. And these students are usually the students that plan to study these subjects in the future in college or university. Yeah, so chemistry is a fun subject. It is definitely fun for you to select and study, but it involves some level of difficulty. Yeah, so chemistry, it is an interesting course, but I wouldn't understate its level of difficulty. Whew, that's a lot to say for my higher level IB courses, and I think it has gone pretty far for now, so I'll cut the video short now, and I'll go to explain my IB standard level courses in another video, the part 2 of this video. So if you're interested in listening to that, please keep tuning in and go to check out my second video so that you can get a better understanding and more holistic view of my overall IB courses. Yeah, stay in touch. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe. If you have any questions regarding the course contents that I've talked about so far, leave a comment down below and I'm very happy to answer them. Bye!